You ever notice how the people you spend the most time with start rubbing off on you? Their words slip into your talk. Their habits crawl into your routine, and their mindset seeps into your bones until you don't even know what happened. That's how Shaitan works. Slow. He don't kick down your front door. He comes in through your friends list. You sit long enough with folks who don't fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and pretty soon you stop fearing Him too. Not because you stopped believing, but because belief got too quiet, buried under laughter that mocks what's sacred, and small talk that turns sin into entertainment. Allah tells us in the Qur'an plainly, do not cooperate in sin and transgression, but cooperate in righteousness and piety. And that means sitting with the wrong crowd counts, if it makes you comfortable with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hates. You might tell yourself, I ain't doing what they're doing, I'm just chilling. But brother, sister, companionship is cooperation when silence gives approval. When your presence says it's fine, I don't judge, that's not mercy, that's permission. And Allah sees it that way. You don't got to drink from the cup to smell like the bar. And you don't got to commit the sin to share in its smoke. Even Imam al-Ghazali said, sitting with the people of sin without rejecting their sin is itself a sin. So let me ask you, who's sitting next to you at work? Who's whispering in your DMs? Who's laughing at the filth that used to make you lower your gaze? We talk about influence like it's nothing, but it's the rope that either drags you up or hangs you down. The Prophet ﷺ said, beware of the places of suspicion. And he said, whoever guards himself from doubtful matters has protected his religion and his honor. In plain talk, don't walk so close to sin that folks can't tell y'all apart. You see, this ain't just about image. It's about what angels record. You can't spend your weekends around filth and expect your heart to smell like paradise. You can't soak in the sewer and pray to come out clean. It don't work that way. And I know what you're thinking. I'm trying to give them guidance. That's noble if you're actually guiding, if your words are dawah and your presence is discipline. But if it's just friendship dressed up as dawah, if it's hanging out, joking, and letting sin slide, then you're not guiding anybody. You're just another shadow in the dark. The scholars laid it out clear. If your company makes you tolerant of sin, or puts suspicion on your name, or gives sinners comfort in what they do, then that friendship ain't just unwise, it's haram. Because when you sit beside a sister committing zina, and you call her sister and you say nothing, you're telling her that God don't mind. And when she dies in that sin, you'll remember that part of your silence was a part of her sin. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, do not cooperate in sin. Not even through comfort, not even through company. We forget that friendship is a covenant too. It's a rope tied between hearts, and every rope pulls one way or the other. The Prophet ﷺ said, a man follows the religion of his closest friend. Look at whom you befriend. That's a Sahih narration. That means your 5 closest people are a map to your paradise or your hellfire. You walk with the people of prayer, you start sounding like them, standing like them, crying like them. You walk with the people of lust and loose talk, you'll start joking like them, thinking like them, and dying like them. You might say, but they're family. And sure, blood ties are sacred, but even family can drag you into hellfire and call it loyalty. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to Noah about his son, he is not of your family. His deeds are unrighteous. Meaning his kinship don't mean nothing when faith is gone. Sometimes love means distance. Sometimes mercy means walking away. You can pray for them without sitting with them, and you can advise them without defending them. You can love them without losing yourself. Look at your circle. Who is it that you're walking with, talking with, laughing with? Who gets your time after work and your silence at lunch, your scroll at midnight? Because you'll rise on judgment day beside the ones you rode with in life, and you'll be resurrected with your crew for better or for worse. Maybe it's time to stop thinking of friendship as comfort and start treating it as accountability. If the people around you ain't pushing you towards salah, then they're pulling you towards sin. There ain't no neutral ground. This whole world wants to make faith sound extreme, and boundaries sound arrogant, and purity sound outdated. But every boundary you draw for Allah's sake is a wall between you and the hellfire. So stop apologizing for guarding your heart. Stop feeling guilty for cutting off the ones dragging you down. Your reputation is part of your religion. Your honor is part of your ibadah. If you walk away from sin's table hungry, Allah will feed you from His bounty. But if you sit there full of shame and call it friendship, you just traded your akira for a moment's comfort. So choose your companions like your eternity depends on it, because it does. The road to paradise is crowded with the few, the sincere, the cautious, the ones who love Allah more than comfort. And if you can't find good company, walk alone with Allah until you do, because it's better to be lonely on earth than surrounded in hell. And that's all I got to say about it.